Hi everyone, thank you for joining and listening to our first IoT webinar. I hope you, your family, and your colleagues are safe and healthy. I would like to especially give a thank you to our healthcare workers that are on the front lines, are doing an amazing job. Specifically, my wife, who is a physician, and actually all this crisis hit home pretty close. So again, my name is Oscar Diaz. I work for T-System North America. We're the ones with the T, okay? So we're a sister company of T-Mobile. Today we are gonna be talking about IoT, specifically about how to track medical supplies, high value assets, and today being those subjects very sensitive. So yes, I do have an agenda. Let's go and see what we're going to be reviewing. Number one, the problem, what is that we're facing today. Number two, what is the solution that we're bringing to the table. We're trying to concise all this discussion in about 10 minutes, very high level. If you need more details, more information, we can discuss it during the Q&A, or you can email me, send me a text message, and I can provide all the information you may need, or you may have questions. So you can share that with me. We're going to be talking about business cases, how we've been able to help other organizations with their problems. So let's stay together right now. Sit tight and let's get started. Okay, this concise webinar, the purpose of this concise webinar is to provide insights into how we can be part of the solution of this pandemic. Given the current crisis, a lot of issues in the medical healthcare system has been exposed every day. Timing has become essential in saving life. The whereabouts of shipments and life-saving equipment is crucial. Therefore, it's important to understand how IoT technology can help to collect information that can provide insights into what's going on in the supply chain, visibility. For example, ETA, how important it is to know when those goods or assets or medical supplies, PPE, will be arriving. The ETA, we get a planned ETA, and actual ETA, all this too, well, the actual ETA gets updated as it goes. So we're gonna be talking about the solution in just in a few seconds. So let's get started. The first solution I'm gonna be talking about today is the B. The B is a rugged device with a full range of sensors, GPS, cellular triangulation. One ping an hour will give you up to 90 days of battery life. It can also be used as a gateway indoors or while in transit to read other small devices like BLDs. It has one of those sensors is vibration, location, temperature, motion, temper, and many other parameters. It doesn't have an off-on button. It's out-of-the-shelf technology, so it's ready to be used. It's transmitting 24/7 as long as it's charged. It uses a lithium-ion battery. Again, it requires about 8 hours to get charged. But again, it has no on and off button. So it is transmitting all the time. Easy to use to set up shipments. If you have a template, it will take just a matter of a few minutes to set up your shipment, okay? It provides great visibility of location, temperature, and again, domestically, overseas, the embedded communication, it can provide visibility into 90 plus countries. So forget about changing devices, forget about, because I'm going overseas, I have to change the SIM card. No, everything is ready to go in one single device, all right? Well, let's go about and talk about the second solution. The second solution is called the B Beacon. The B Beacon is a small device. You can see I have a quarter, so you can see the size, all right? So this is a B Beacon, all right? It's light in weight, has ambient light sensor on the back. I hope you can see it, as an ambient light sensor. It can go up to 5 years on a 10-second ping rate. It can provide a location and temperature reporting. The location of this device is the one that is provided by the gateway. Since this is a BLE device, Bluetooth Low Energy device, it requires to have a gateway. We just talked about the B being a gateway. So in proximity to the gateway, this provides location and temperature. Okay? So that being said, this one is mainly used to provide visibility on a small parcel. So let's imagine a first aid kit, the size. We can attach one of these little beacons and provide visibility on the asset. It helps to provide inventory, real-time inventory visibility as well, and location. So the B beacon, let me put this apart. Now, let's talk about the use cases. So the two solutions we just talked about can provide visibility from indoors to in transit, all the way to in transit. Now, the B, and let's stick to for a second on the indoors. On the indoors, we can provide visibility. With this device, we can build some virtual zones. You can see on the back, they're attached to the wall. It's not required to have a wireless connectivity to the device, since the device has GSM. It can provide, it can send all the information that is reading from the beacons, used on a small parcel or package on the racks or in the warehouse. It can provide that visibility in real time. Now, if your medical equipment is ready to go, is in a pallet with one of these devices attached to one of the, I don't know, package or parcel, it can be ready to get loaded into the trailer. So let me just switch the screen. So it gets loaded into the trailer. And as long as our equipment or pallets or small parcel travel with the B, we will be able to provide visibility along the way. So what kind of visibility? Again, we can provide location, we can provide temperature. Also, this technology can provide the weather conditions outside, not just the conditions inside the container level with the B and the conditions on the package level with the beacon, but also can provide the weather conditions outside, how the weather outside is impacting my shipment, whether it's sensitive for temperature, whether it is not the refrigeration inside the truck is working properly. We don't know. That's something that we're gonna be able to help you answer moving forward, okay? So now, all this information that gets collected along the way, it gets transmitted to the cloud. Now let's take a look how that information looks like in the cloud, in the platform. Now, on my back, I have the map that is showing the data points and all the information, the raw data that we're collecting from the devices, they get transmitted to the cloud. And from the cloud, it gets converted in something, in graphic that makes sense to you and to everyone in your organization. You can see the data points in green. That means the information got reported on time, whether it is every 5 minutes, whether it is every 30 minutes, whether it is every hour. The dots on red, that means we have an alert. We have an event that could potentially was triggered based on the customization that you decided to put. For example, if the temperature went above 38 degrees Fahrenheit, that will trigger an alert because that was defined in your system, and it will send an email to you or a text message immediately reporting that there's an issue. Then you can react to the problem immediately and prevent a spoilage of your product, for example, just to give you an example. On the top, we're gonna be able to see that we have all the different range of sensors. So on the first one, we have temperature. We can provide this timestamp and the location on the data points. So you can see in yellow on the top, we can see location. Then we have the battery life coming down in red, and then we can provide as well the temperature. You can see all the blue data points on the back. So this is the kind of powerful graphics we can provide. We can provide all the alerts, I mean, on my back as well. All this information, again, you can see it in real time, whether it is in your iPad, whether it is in your computer, whether it's in your phone. You can see all this information in real time. We can provide PDF reports that can easily be printed out or sent by email. They would include all your shipment information from where planned ETA, actual ETA. It can provide all the different sensors, how they were behaving during the way. They can provide important parameters. For example, how many events we have, how many alerts we had, if that's what you really want. We can provide all the sensor, or we can provide the reporting on one sensor only. It's up to you, how do you really want to get it reported. Now, that being said, let's talk about, let's talk about the word solution oriented and the business cases. How we been able to help other organizations, okay? So why we were contacted in the first place with this pharmaceutical company. The problem, suspicious that something was going on in the supply chain. We found out that they didn't have any visibility. We came in, we deployed some devices, and then we provide visibility immediately. The findings, the driver was driving around the city about 10 times before heading to Detroit metropolitan area suburbs to distribute all the drugs that they were on the truck. Number two, the driver stopped at a house for about 2 hours. Why? We don't know. For 2 hours with a $1.5 million worth in drugs on the back of the truck. So those were the findings that we find out and deploying this solution as a proof of value. We presented all this information to the management team in the company, and they were able to implement an integrated solution that included 24/7 monitoring. So we provide a service to monitor those alerts, those events. So not even the company had to do it. We have the service to provide that kind of visibility 24/7, arrange all the reverse logistic for the devices in case it's necessary. That information also with a protocols. It is important to understand that the company provided to us protocol, how to react in case there's an emergency, how to react in case there's an alert, there is an event. So we were able to, whether the protocol was just to contact the security department, or the protocol was to contact the quality department, we don't know. We help you to find out. So this is just one example how we've been able to help some organizations in the pharma industry. Electronics, let me give you another example. Why we were approached. Electronics companies were finding damaged products upon arrival. They didn't know why. So we deployed some devices to understand and find out later that the G-forces that were hitting the truck that was transporting the electronics from point A to point B, being Mexico to Washington, was actually very extremely high G-forces. So we didn't know that, or the customer didn't know that. They didn't have the visibility or the capability to understand it. So once we implemented this solution and provided that visibility, they implemented a solution, an integrated solution that required to change the road. So they changed the road and understood how many G-forces their equipment was capable to handle. And if it was going above that, they will have to prevent damage to happen by changing or doing deviation or changing the road, okay? So this is just how this technology can help you to find out an appropriate solution to the appropriate problem that you have, okay? So I just talk about, I know I've been talking about devices, but remember, we're solution-oriented. And we would like actually to think about how this technology can help you. If you don't know, that's fine. These companies didn't know either. We just came in, helped them to find out the problem and to find out the solution. This is a work that we do together. We need to understand your problem, and then we need to understand what success means for you. We need to understand your success criteria to be able to meet that criteria with the solution that you expected. So we're just trying to provide and to the right expectation, the right solution, okay? So let me, the takeaways that I want you to take today is that this technology, again, ready to go. You need it in a couple of days. It can be implemented in a couple of days, depending availability of the number of devices, but ready to go. 15 minutes training, between 15 and 30 minutes training will get you going in the platform. With the ready to go templates, it's easy to set up the shipments, easy to implement in your warehouse. Visibility can impact in a major ways your business. Let's use it to provide that visibility. Let's use it to see the visibility, to have the visibility, to understand what you don't know, okay? An integrated solution oriented. So we're not here just to send you a device. We're here to help you to build that solution, okay? So those are the takeaways I want you to take today. My name again is Oscar Diaz. My email is on the back. My phone number, if you want to get in contact with me, send me a text message. I'm happy to help. And again, we did it in a very high level, try to be very concise. I understand you may have more questions. You may need more details. We're happy to send a deck with all the information you may need. And again, I want to thank all the healthcare workers on the front lines. And again, they're doing an amazing job keeping us safe and trying to save lives, okay? We're just here trying to be part of the solution and in the best way we can, okay? So thank you so much. We're gonna go now to the Q&A session. I don't know, Erin, if you can help me.
Yeah, we could use the chat box, unless, you know, you're free to also take yourself off on mute if anyone has any questions.
No questions? So that I was that clear? I hope so.
Anyone? Let's give it a minute. Question. How much training is required to begin using this solution?
Well, probably about 30 minutes. We're gonna get you up and running with the solution. The platform is ready to go, pretty easy to use. It's very straightforward. So 30 minutes will get you going with the templates that we use to set up shipments. If those templates are repetitive, going from point A to point B, and within 5 minutes, we're gonna be able to provide, you know, you're gonna be able to set up your shipment without a problem.
Another question, how many devices are in use?
Excuse me?
How many devices are in use currently?
Well, thousands of devices everywhere. We have multiple customers across the world. Their customers are using hundreds of them every day. There's with our partner, Rombi, we can say that there's thousands of devices out there working right now.
Cool. Callie, did you have a question?
I did. Sorry. So I might have missed it, but what's the accuracy of the device, the GPS?
That's a good point. Thank you for bringing it up. We can provide an accuracy on great conditions up to, we'll say within a workstation. So imagine a workstation that's the size of the, you know, could be 5 to 7 feet, you know, range. But that's a kind of accuracy workstation wise, you know. I see that there's another question here for who changed the B device battery. So there's no need to change the battery. The battery is lithium-ion battery. It requires 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours to be charged. But once it's charged, we need to make sure the device is in proximity to a window. Don't keep it underneath your desk. Otherwise, 3 floors down the ground, because we know the device is going to be trying to look for connectivity and consume energy. So those are the details we can provide later, but 8 hours charging the device will give you up to 90 days theoretical. And I said theoretical because we need to consider all these characteristics of conditions around the device. But yeah. What modes of transportation does the device support? It can provide it can support a vessel, it can go in ocean mode. We have a unique ocean mode setting that can help you to save the energy, and it can go during 3 months. It can go to China, it can go to Singapore, it can go to South Africa, and will still have the capability to be recording the conditions during the time is spent on the ocean. It will, of course, it will not be transmitting the information because there's no connectivity on the ocean, but it will still recording. And as long as it gets close to an island or shorelines where there's GSM connectivity, the device will be able to transmit the information. So it can go on airplane mode, it can go in a plane, and automatically will set up, it will, by a combination of altitude, pressure, and speed, it will go in airplane mode, okay? And of course, it will cover all the domestic shipments. What most of for medical supplies we need FDA reporting if this device calibrated for validation reasons. This one is actually not a pharma grade. We have another one who is actually pharma grade. We provide a certification of the calibration of the device that will expire a year after of use. So we will have to get it recalibrated. But for 1 year, you have a certification. The device, the pharma grade device, can provide the temperature with appropriate accuracy for the FDA reporting. On the smallest B that uses the gateway, what is the distance between, okay. So the distance, this one, can go to this one, and in good conditions, it will be up to 150 feet away. Now, when I said great conditions, so there's nothing interfering the communication between these two. If there's a wall or there's a rack, we can probably decrease, and to be safe, I would say 80 to 100 in a warehouse. Now we can reduce the distance of this one up to, we'll say 5 to 10 feet away, so we can build zones. So I want to build a zone around 20 feet around this device. I can reduce that, or I can increase to increase the size of my zone, okay? So, but yeah, it can go up to 150 feet away in great conditions. Data store device, how is the data flow out of the device? So this is an over-the-air device. And then this device actually transmit on a 10-second ping rate the information to the B. The B actually, the way it works is actually goes down and it keeps reading, and after we're gonna reach, before you reach the 5 minutes limit, it wakes up, does the reading of the beacon, store the information, and transmit the data to the cloud. Now, once in the cloud, it gets transported and then transmitted to the graphic, which you saw right over here. So it's over the air GSM, and it gets transported in the platform. Now, there will be some raw message or some messages that, because of the connectivity, may be shorter or longer, but every single time the device has the possibility to send, or has great connectivity, it will send all the information that was collected. Actually, noise, what I understand, we have another device that it will not be the B. This B, I talk about the B as a function as a gateway, but we have another device that can read up to 1,000 beacons at the same time. That device is specifically for inventory, real-time inventory, or to reading this small device. So if we have limitations like you're bringing up the noise in a working environment, like in a factory, we can use other type of gateway. When you say GSM, are you referring to 2G? 2G is usually work in India or in some areas in Mexico. We support 3G and 4G, specifically in the US, mainly 4G. We basically use 2 different types of SIM cards, depending the region where you're gonna ship your goods and assets. We have a pretty good understanding where those SIM cards actually work pretty well. So that's something we want you to understand. Where your shipping's going, and then we're going to be able to provide the right type of connectivity. Good questions. Well, 5G is a totally different technology. Today, even though we have 5G, even your cell phone will not be able or capable to connect to 5G. Even if you're holding an iPhone, the most recent iPhone, it will not even be able to connect to 5G because the technology behind the phone will not allow it. All these companies, Samsung, Apple, and even all this technology that we're talking about will have to be updated and upgraded in order to be able to connect to 5G. So we're a little bit far away to getting all these devices in 5G. And again, and that brought up a pretty good point. All this technology is changing rapidly. So like the computers, we're using this, and probably tomorrow we will have another device that is half of the size of this, you know, the one I'm showing on the screen, with the same capabilities and the same amount of battery days. So technology is changing, and we're changing along the way with them. Okay, so yeah, 5G is a good question, but it's not around the corner per se.
Any more questions?
How are we in time?
Perfect. 30 minutes.
All right. Well, if there's no more question, thank you so much, everyone, for your question, for your time today. I hope it was very helpful to everyone. Thank you so much, and talk to you soon.